Chapter 29. Nothing more to write. Next morning I heard that Tom was a good deal better. They'd said Aunt Sally had gone to get a nap, so I slipped into the sick room. If I found Tom awake, we might put up a story for the family that would wash. But he was sleeping and sleeping quiet. And when he was pale, not fire-faced, the way he was when they brought him home, I thought I'd wait for him to wake. After a while, Aunt Sally glided in, and there I was up a stump. She motioned me to be still, and we stayed there, watching Tom. By and by, he stirred, and opened his eyes very natural, and said, "Hello, why, I'm at home. How is it? Where's the raft?" "It's all right," I said. "And Jim?" "The same." I said, but couldn't say it very brash. "Good. Did you tell Aunt Sally?" I was going to say yes, but she chipped in. "About what?" "About how we set the slave free." Good land, what is this child talking about? Dear, out of his head again. No, I'm not out of my head. I know all I'm talking about. We did set him free. We planned it all by ourselves. We dug the hole into the cabin and wrote the ominous letters from the robbers. He'd got a good start, and she said she didn't check him, just stood there and stared and let him clip along. I saw it wasn't any use for me to put in. Well, I never heard the like of it in all my born days. So was you little rapscallions. That made it all trouble and scared us to death. I have good notion to take it out on you this very minute. You just get well once, you young scap. I'll tan the old Harry out of both of you. Tom was so proud he couldn't hold in, and his tongue just went it. She chipping in and spitting fire all along. Well, you could get all the fun you get out of it now. But mind, if I catch you meddling with that runaway again. Tom looked at me and said, "Didn't you just say that Jim was all right? Didn't he get away?" "Indeed he didn't," said Aunt Sally. "He's in that cabin again on bread and water, and he'll be there until he's claimed or sold." Tom rose square up in head and his eyes hot. "They have no right to shut him up. Turn him loose. He's as free as any creature that walks the earth. What does this child mean?" "I mean every word I say. Old Miss Watson died before I left St. Petersburg. She said she was ashamed she had never thought of selling him down. The river she set him free in her will. Then what on earth did you want to set him free for, if he is already free?"
"Why, I wanted the adventure of it. I'd have waded neck deep in blood to goodness alive, Aunt Polly." There was Aunt Polly standing in the door, looking all as sweet as an angel half full of pie. Aunt Sally jumped for her and hugged her and cried over her. I found a good enough place for me under the bed. In a little while I peeped out and saw Aunt Polly looking at Tom, kind of grinding him into the earth. "Yes, you better turn your head away, you Tom." "Oh, dearie me," said Aunt Sally. "Is he changed so much? That isn't Tom, that's Sid. Tom was here a minute ago. Where did he go?" "You mean where did Huck Finn go? I haven't raised such a scamp as my Tom all these years not to know him when I see him. Come out from under that bed, Huck Finn." I crawled out, but not feeling brash. Tom's Aunt Polly told all about who I was. She said Tom was right about old Miss Watson setting Jim free in her will. Now I could understand how a boy with Tom's bringing up would sink to stealing a slave to set him free. Aunt Polly said that when Aunt Sally wrote her that Tom and Sid, too, had come all right and safe, she said to herself, "Look at that now. I might have expected it, letting him go off without anybody to watch him. Now I got to go all the way down the river to find out what that creature is up to this time. Tom, you do need skinning, and no mistake about it. I wrote a letter just before I started to tell you I was coming." "Oh, I got that yesterday. I haven't read it yet." I wanted to offer to bet $2 she couldn't find it, but I thought it was safer to say nothing. Aunt Sally was the most mixed-up person I ever saw, except Uncle Silas. When they told it all to him, it kind of made him drunk. He didn't know anything at all the rest of the day. The first time I caught Tom alone, I asked him what was the idea of stealing a slave to set him free when he was already free. He said his idea was to run down the river on the raft and have an adventure plumb to the mouth of the river. Then he would tell Jim he was free and take him back on a steamboat in great style. Well, we had Jim up in Tom's sick room, and Tom gave him $40 for being a prisoner for us. Jim was pleased to death and said, "Now, Huck, I told you I was bound to be rich one day, and it's come true. Signs is signs, I tell you." Then Tom said, "Let's all three slide out of here one of these nights and get an outfit and go for the howling adventures in the Indian Territory for a couple of weeks." I said I didn't have any money to buy an outfit, that most likely Pap had come back by now and got all the money away from Judge Thatcher and drunk it up. Jim said, kind of solemn, "He ain't coming back no more, Huck." "Why, Jim?" I said. "Never mind why, Huck, but he ain't coming back no more." I kept at him to tell me why, and at last he said, "You remember the house flowing down the river and the dead man that I didn't let you see? Well, that was him. Tom is well now and wears his bullet on a watch guard for a watch and is always seeing what time it is. So there's not nothing more to write about, and I'm rotten glad of it. If I had thought what a trouble it is to write a book. I never would have tackled it, and I won't tackle it again. But I reckon I got to light out for Indian Territory ahead of the others because Aunt Sally says she's going to adopt me and civilize me. I can't stand that. I've been there before.